opening day last night. Roy Halladay threw out the first pitch to Mark Burley, and the Doc was back in the house. Joe Girardi's Yankees, they broke the bats out last night. Girardi's Yankees scored 7 runs on 16 hits, and they have yet to hit a home run this season. Take a look at the Yankees lineup. Jacoby Ellsbury had a breakout night last night. He had 3 hits. He was 3 for 4. Derek Jeter, the captain, back in the lineup this afternoon. Beltray McCann and Alfonso Soriano against R.A. Dickey is 5 for 15 with a pair of home runs and 16 RBIs. He's in left field this afternoon. And then down in the 8th spot, the rookie, Yoervis Solarte, 5 hits in his first 3 major league games. He has really grabbed a hold of that utility spot with the Yankees. He's a very versatile player.
He can hit. That is a lineup that R.A. Dickey will face this afternoon as he makes his second start of the season. He pitched on opening day, worked 5 innings, and just did not have his command of that knuckleball. Ended up walking 6 batters in that ballgame. Now, it's already been a good weekend for R.A. Dickey. He picked up his Gold Glove yesterday. He's looking to have a great weekend pitching against the New York Yankees, and in his career he's allowed 3 runs or less in 5 of the 8 starts that he has had against the Yankees. He's got to get that knuckleball over and throw it hard early in the count.
Defensively, the Blue Jays have been outstanding in the outfit. It's Cabrera, Rasmussen, Bautista. Bautista's throwing the ball very well right now. Laurie and Diaz on the left side, they've been terrific. Gowen's done a great job at second, and Conocioni made a spectacular double play down in Tampa Bay. Josh Tolley is the personal catcher for R.A. Dickey, and there's that Gold Glove. He was honored before the game last night with that Gold Glove, and nobody knows Dickey better than Josh Tolley.
Yes, as he is throwing like he did in his Cy Young Award season. They made some adjustments in Tampa Bay. We'll talk about it as the game goes along, but most importantly, the velocity. We will watch that this afternoon.
Josh Tolley was the catcher for R.A. Dickey nearly exclusively in the 2012 Cy Young year with the New York Mets. Dickey pitched with the Mets 3 seasons, 10, 11, and 12. He went 39 and 28 in New York with Josh Tolley back behind the plate, oftentimes at Citi Field. So Jacoby Ellsbury, he came into last night's game 0 for the season, and he responded with a 3-hit night. A couple of steals, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored. He had a good night offensively. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. Inside. The Yankees, they saw Dickey right at the end of spring training in Dunedin, and they hit him around. Dickey said he was just working on things and wasn't concerned about the Yankees' attack at that point. This is popped up and playable. Tolley over, he gives way to the third baseman Brent Laurie, and Ellsbury is retired. Well, this is the final season for Derek Jeter, and he will make his first appearance of the year here this afternoon.
Number 2, Derek Jeter.
Of course, the Yankees are universally recognized, and Derek Jeter is their captain. Outside for a ball. This will be his 20th season and his final season in Yankee pinstripes.
So when you have a chance to come out here and watch him play in person, you got to take advantage of it. What a pleasure to watch this guy over the last 20 years, 2 decades.
He has done it right. There's no question about it, and he has set the standard for Yankee players to follow. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. R.A. Dickey, you mentioned his great work down in Tampa Bay. Put in a real good side session after his last start.
Yeah, that was the whole idea, that side session after the start in Tampa. Felt like he was just trying to guide the ball into the strike zone. So the next day he went out with Pete Walker, and Pete told him, hey, just go out there and extend. Throw the ball as hard as you can. You've got good command with it. You'll get a little bit more movement on that knuckleball. He had a great side session. He's looking to carry that over this afternoon.
Jeter goes after that high pitch, and that was the pitch that was so effective for Dickey the last time he faced the Yankees here at Rogers Center.
That was last September. His velocity of his knuckleball was up. And the Yankee hitters, who are normally very patient, just didn't have a a good time picking up that knuckleball, and they swung out a lot of pitches out of the strike zone.
Full count to Jeter. On the ground. Goins backs up, has time, and Jeter's retired, 2 down. Dickey didn't like that baseball. Wants another to start the at-bat against Carlos Beltran. Beltran this afternoon is in right field. Last night he was the DH. Had an IBI single in his first at-bat. Finished up the night 1 for 4. A year ago, Beltran played with the Cardinals. Hit .296. He lifts it foul out of play.
What a great signing, I think, by the Yankees. He's a veteran, a little bit older now, so I think they're going to have to watch him. They'll DH him here in the American League, which is a good thing. But he's a switch hitter. He'll combine with Mark Teixeira, I think, to form a nice 3-4 combination when Teixeira gets back.
If you've not heard, Mark Teixeira has been placed on the disabled list. He strained his hamstring here in the field last night. Right back to Dickey. You can't get it past the Gold Glover. Good inning for Dickey. He retires the side in order. Blue Jays coming to bat. They'll take on Michael Pineda when we come back. Played yet as a team. They're hitting just 200 for the season for their first 5 games. Take a look at their lineup. One guy that's swinging about is Melky Cabrera at the top of the order. He's got a 5-game hit streak. Kobe Erasmus, then Jose Bautista. Bautista's off to a decent start. Edwin Encarnacion had a 2-hit game last night. Lind, Lowry, Tolley, Goins, and Diaz. Jonathan Diaz drove in a pair last night with a single to left.
Michael Pineda is making his Yankees debut today. It's been a long time since he has thrown in a big league game. 2 years, 6 months, 2 weeks, and a day. To be exact, the last time that Michael Pineda threw, that was September 2011. He had a good spring. He won the 5th starter spot for the Yankees. And I think everybody in the Yankee organization is very excited and anxious to see this big man throw.
Well, they gave up a good prospect in Jesus Montero for Pineda, and they're happy to see him healthy. In the outfield, Alfonso Soriano, the Gold Glover Jacoby Ellsbury. Gold Glover in right is Carlos Beltran. Infield is Solarte, Jeter, Anna, and Johnson from third base to first, and behind the plate, Francisco Cervelli. It's his first start in this series.
And it's great to see Derek Jeter out at shortstop. He begins his 20th season with the Yankees, tied Mariano Rivera for the most seasons played with the club in franchise history. 5 times he won the Gold Glove.
Pineda delivers a strike to Cabrera. Melky, we mentioned his 5-game hit streak. Blue Jays have faced Pineda 3 times. This will be the 4th time they have seen him as a starter. All 3 of those starts came back in 2011.
And quite honestly, he was a different pitcher then. He was younger. He threw a lot harder. Now he sinks his fastball. He's got a great slider. He still throws hard. In spring training, he was sitting at 91 or 92 miles an hour with good movement. And he says that too. He says the time off has really helped him become a better pitcher. He says my slider is better. He says my changeup is better right now. So he wasn't sitting around trying to get healthy. He was trying to make himself a better player.
1-2 pitch outside. It's 2-2. Pineda missed the entire 2012 season. Had shoulder surgery that summer. And shoulders are really difficult to come back from. You hear people coming back from Tommy John all the time. Breaking ball hammered, but foul. But shoulders are different. Casey Janssen had a shoulder surgery. It took him a long time to come back. That's the McGowan as well. And shoulders, there's so many different muscles involved in the throwing motion that shoulders can be tricky. Full count.
Originally hurt it in 2011 and then actually hurt it again in spring training of 2012. Had arthroscopic shoulder surgery May the 1st of 2012. That was an anterior labral tear.
Full count to Cabrera. Good pitch, sinking down and away. Jeter waits on it, skips it across the diamond, not in time. Melky Cabrera has extended his hit streak to 6 straight. An infield single to short.
Derek Jeter had to lay back on that ball just a little bit and then could not get a lot on the throw. You see him back up, have to wait for that last hop, and actually throws it into the dirt. Kelly Johnson is playing first base for just the 4th time in his career. Picks it, but it's too late as Melky beats it out.
This is only the 3rd career start of Kelly Johnson. If he catches that ball out in front, he might get the out, but you see how he takes that glove behind him. He cost himself about 3 feet by not stretching and extending that glove. Colby Rasmus takes a first pitch strike. Rasmus is just 1 for 18 in the early going. This time of the year, that batting average can fluctuate dramatically with as few at bats as hitters have.
Don't even look at it. Don't look up at the scoreboard for the first month of the season.
Breaking ball down and in has really been a problem for Rasmus early on. It's just timing. Remember, Colby missed about 10 days of games in spring training with a stiff neck.
You know, and if you think that doesn't matter, it matters. You've got to have the full 6 weeks of spring training to get your motor going and get your timing down. Right now, he's not seeing the breaking ball very well. From the right-hander, it's going down and in, and he's swinging over the top of it.
One ball, 2 strikes. Cabrera at first. Cervelli wanted it. You saw how he held that glove right where he caught the baseball, but it was off the plate outside. Francisco Cervelli can really catch. Very animated behind the plate. He's been dealing with injuries the last several years. A couple of times he broke his hand and knocked him out of the active roster. And breaking ball right down in the same spot, breaking down and in on Rasmus. 1 down.
Take a look at the pitch usage from Michael Pineda. This was 2011. Fastball 63% of the times, and he would touch 97, 98 miles an hour consistently with it. He's got a great slider, and his changeup, like he was saying, has improved a lot over the last couple of years. Now, he'll pitch at 91, 92. He'll touch 93 and 94. I haven't seen any 98s from him, and that's okay. He's picked up better movement than we saw back in 2011.
Bautista shows bunt, takes a strike. Bautista has reached base in all 5 games so far. 3 hits, 2 of those have left the yard. He's got a couple of home runs.
Gigantic hole on the right side of the infield for Bautista if he chooses to punch one the other way. They go with that exaggerated shift with 3 infielders on the left side of the infield and with the first baseman holding the runner on. Jose could roll one through there and run for days.
Got about a 115-foot gap. There's a shot to right. He took a shot but gets it in the air and lines out to Beltran. That's a pretty good swing.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to inside out that ball and get his afternoon off to a good start. Just elevated the ball.
So there are 2 outs after the leadoff single, a strikeout and a line out. Now Edwin Encarnacion coming off a 2-hit effort last night, single and a double. Up and in. He bends back from that inside fastball, 94 miles an hour. You expected that Pineda was going to throw a little harder during the regular season than he did during spring training. Adrenaline will just give you another mile or 2 on your velocity.
Bigger ballparks, more people. Get fired up.
Swinging a foul at home plate.
I've been impressed with his movement. I don't remember the type of movement that I saw in spring training with him and now here in the first inning with his fastball.
Pineda made 3 starts back in 2011 against the Blue Jays. His best start was his second big league start. That was in April in Seattle. Threw the ball very well. Encarnacion tried to check and it went around. Pineda's going to have to be careful of that breaking ball in that location. Somebody will crush it.
Edwin Encarnacion hit a lot of home runs last year on 2-strike breaking balls.
Well, Cervello, you can see him tapping the dirt behind home plate, emphasizing the fact he wants this pitch down.
Very animated behind the dish. I mean, he really gets the maximum effort out of his starting pitcher that day. Being fired up, they got to go breaking ball again.
There's a breaking ball in a much better spot. Those last 2 pitches, the same pitch, but they're about 2 feet different in location. You see the 2 high and in, that's a slider. He wanted it down where number 4 ended up on that last pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ball is driven high and deep to right. Beltran, he's got it measured right in front of the warning track and holds it in. The Blue Jays get a leadoff single from Melky Cabrera, but can't do anything with it. We're scoreless after 1 at Rogers Center. Well, Dickey likes the way Tolley catches the knuckleball, and Tolley likes the way Dickey uses his fastball.
That's, I think, a very interesting thing we saw in the first inning. We got Jacoby Ellsbury by throwing the fastball, and I think he's going to mix in a few more of those this afternoon. He also got Derek Jeter to ground out on a fastball. That was the recipe that he was telling us. Slow knuckleball early, then the fastball would surprise him, then put him away with the hard knuckleball over in the National League.
Brian McCann takes the first pitch strike. McCann, the DH this afternoon, he's back behind the plate in last night's game. Upstairs, that's the one that Dickey's looking for. A little extra hop, and that'll get the Yankees to chase. There you see the defense playing McCann to pull.
Nowhere to hit it on the right side to get through. Even Jose Bautista on that one shot we had looked like he was standing right behind Brett Laurie out in short right field.
This is pop over near the seats, and that'll reach the seats out of play. Brian McCann is a good addition to this Yankee lineup. Not only did they need a catcher, but he's a home run hitter. He's hit 20 home runs in each of the last 6 seasons. Right to Diaz at short. 1 down. Well, it sounds like it's an oxymoron, but it's important. Knuckleball velocity.
Well, look what he did last year. Now, some of the problems with the April and May velocity at 75 miles an hour was the problem he had in his neck and his shoulder area. He had that tight muscle in there, and it just never seemed to get loose. But as the summer went along and it started getting warmer, the velocity went up. His second half was outstanding last year because you saw the great velocity with that knuckleball. And he mixed in more fastballs. From August the 1st on, his fastball usage went up 5%.
0-1 to Alfonso Soriano. Now 2 strikes, 0-2. Soriano did not play last night. He's 0 for 12 to start the season. Hits this ball hard into center. Rasmus will get there and make the ground. We talk about R.A. Dickey's velocity, and both Dickey and Thole believe that when it's harder, it's better. And you see his last 4 starts last year. In that start September 17th, 79.39 miles per hour. That was against the Yankees.
Yeah, and he'll top out right there. If it's 78, 79, and if he'll touch 80, it's good. His first start against Tampa Bay, it was just 75 miles an hour, and he was trying to guide the ball in there and trying to throw strikes with it.
Kelly Johnson goes after that pitch. Boy, Dickey's doing a good job. And we asked Josh Thole what they could do to counteract hitters going after that first pitch. He said, I want to use the 2-strike knuckleball on the first pitch.
And that's the adjustment that they made in the Tampa Bay game. They were throwing the soft knuckleball early, and Tampa was jumping all over it. That's called the get me over knuckleball that they would use. And they said, okay, let's start throwing the hard knuckleball now early in the count. And he had much better success in the middle portions of that game.
Will Myers saw 2 pitches in his first 2 at-bats. He had a double and scored in the first and a 2-run single in the second. They were locked and loaded for that first pitch. Kelly Johnson fouls it back.
Well, I like the idea that he's using a few more fastballs also. You know, as a hitter, when you've got a knuckleball pitcher out there, you're just laying on that knuckleball. He surprises you with a fastball and he sinks it a little bit better. You're going to get some funky swings.
It's a weak grounder. He broke his bat. Goins to Encarnacion. Quick inning. R.A. Dickey has retired 6 straight. The in-between work is working out.
Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
The teaching is ongoing with Kevin Seitzer. He is talking to Kobe Erasmus, and they're talking about that first pitch and that last at bat, trying to pick up something. Seitzer prepares his hitters very well, and he will treat each of the individuals separately. Some players want a lot of information, others need less.
Lots of video and lots of information that they can take with them to the plate.
Adam Lind takes a first pitch slider for a strike. Lind has a pair of home runs against Pineda. Blue Jays hit 3 home runs in the ball game here against Seattle. That was in Seattle, August 15th. Thames, Lind, and Laurie all had home runs against Pineda.
And Adam is very dangerous his first time up in the game. Last year, he had 23 home runs. 16 of them came in his first at bat in a ball game. So you lay a fastball in there, and he's waiting for it early.
That missed away. Be interesting to watch the patterns develop over the course of this ball game. So far, Pineda is much more comfortable on the third base side of home plate. Downstairs. Vlasti's edging up already, up to 95. Laurie is on deck. Full count. High breaking ball drilled to the alley in left center. This ball is off the wall. Lind is headed for second with a leadoff double. That's a high breaking ball, and boy, did he put a pretty swing on it.
Yeah, he did. That's very interesting because Cervelli, the catcher, called for the fastball and called for it twice. He shook him off and went with the breaking ball. Slider had stayed up, and Adam Lind stayed behind that one. Boy, he squared that one up. That ball hit right in the middle of that bat, and he smoked it into the gap in left center field for a leadoff double.
That is a hit-me slider for sure. With 2 strikes, boy, you throw anything in the zone that's breaking, and chances are power hitters like Lind are going to put a charge in it. So Brett Laurie now in a scoreless ball game. Leadoff double. Lind's at second. Laurie shows bunt, pulls the bat back. Not a bad idea. At least put that thought in the Yankees' mind.
Well, I think the thought process of John Gibbons right here is R.A. Dickey's got his good knuckleball today. Looks good the first 2 innings here. Let's get a run right now early in the game. Make the Yankees score 2 to beat me.
Laurie got that fastball he wanted, but swung right through it. Ball and a strike. Josh Tolley, the catcher, a left-handed hitter, is on deck behind Laurie. Pineda not really sure about this next pitch. He was all set and then had second thoughts. All right, bunts it and pops it in the air. Pineda missed it. Well, the Yankees dodged a bullet right there as Pineda reached for it. Looked like a little change-up kind of bunt back to him. He's shaking his head. He couldn't believe he missed it. But Laurie's retired, and Lind has to hold at second because there was a chance he was going to catch it.
He has to. The bunt, the high fastball, it's bunted in the air by Brett Laurie. And as the runner, you got to make sure this ball is down. Lind is thinking about going. And by then, it's too late. Pineda gives a quick look behind him to see if the runner is moving. Tough to get that ball down on the ground. It's popped up. It could have worked out nicely for the Yankees. If he catches that ball, he might have had a shot at a double play at second base. But again, I like the idea of trying to score a run early with your number 1 guy out on the mound.
All right, Dickey's retired 6 straight to start the game, and Laurie was trying to move Lind from second to third. Josh Tolley 1 for 2 on opening day. Breaking ball in there for his strike. Tolley had a tough season a year ago with the Blue Jays. Hit just 175 in 45 games. But if you look at his National League numbers, he hit 261 in the National League. Trying to ball into the seats.
Trying to be a little bit more aggressive this year and trying to use the whole field. I think when his approach is line drives right over the shortstop, I think he's going to be a much better hitter. That'll help you keep your front shoulder in there. It'll help you track the ball just a little bit longer. The outfield plays him the other way. They have him shaded to left field.
Little looper. This is trouble. It's going to drop. Lynn got a good read off the bat. He's going to come in to score. Boy, Adam Lynn did a good job of reading that ball, recognizing it was going to drop safely. And Tolley has picked up the RBI. The Jays have a 1-0 lead.
Well, the last thing you do as a runner at second base before the pitch is thrown is you check to see where your outfielders are, so you can read line drives into the outfield or bloopers. So watch Adam Lynn at the top of your set there. He sees that ball's going to drop in easily on one bounce in front of Soriano, so there's no throw. Good piece of base running there. The ball's jammed, and he doesn't even hesitate.
Tolley picks up the RBI. Lind had the leadoff double. Jays lead at 1-0. Hit and run is on, and the ball is taken, and Tolley is out easily. Cervelli threw a strike to second, and Tolley obviously thought it was a hit and run.
Well, somebody missed a sign, and we're not sure if it's the runner or the hitter. But we've seen John Gibbons, when you get a run, be very aggressive on the next pitch. And when that ball's taken, it's going to be an out.
This is a drive down the left side. It's off the wall. Goins is headed for second. You can see he's upset because he missed the hit and run sign. Tolley was off on the first pitch. Timing was great after the Blue Jays had scored on the previous pitch. And Gibbons rolled the dice, put the hit and run on, but Goins missed the sign.
Stay aggressive. That's what he did. Now you say, oh, if only I'd done this on the previous pitch. But a good piece of hitting right there for Ryan Goins that gets his first hit of the season.
Jonathan Diaz, he's off to a good start, 2 for 8, but he's driven in 3. He gave the Blue Jays the lead in last night's game with a 2-run single to left. Blue Jays have broken out on top 1-0. Diaz a year ago was in AAA with the Boston Red Sox. Another good breaking ball, 0-2.
He's got great angle coming across home plate, that slider. Now you got a battle right here. He is tied with Adam Lynn for the lead, or the team lead in RBIs with those 3.
And he strikes out. Another good slider. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead. They score a run on 3 hits. R.A. Dickey back to start the 3rd.
2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays. And by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Kevin Seitzer does all of his good work in between innings, and he's talking to Ryan Goins, and it looked like Goins said, I got the sign, but it was a pitch where I just couldn't swing at it. Sometimes that happens where you anticipate fighting off a pitch to put the ball in play on a hit and run, but it looked like a perfect pitch away. The catcher, Francisco Cervelli, he threw out Josh Tolley at second on that hit and run attempt.
Still have to swing it.
Yeah,
you have to protect that runner. You throw your bat at it if you have to.
Ball under strike. Ryan Goins with his first hit of the season. He snapped an 0 for 19 going back to last year. Popped in the air and deep. That ball is carrying. Hobie Erasmus is not going to get there. And Bautista will play it back in. Cervelli had a terrific spring. He did a great job all spring long. Took the backup role and gets the first hit of the afternoon for New York.
The way he swung at that ball and the way it came off the bat, it looked like it was just a little pop fly out into the outfield, but this ball kept carrying. And when you square up a knuckleball like that, the ball's going to carry. I thought that ball was just going to be a fly ball to center field. I think R.A. Dickey did too, but it just kept carrying right off the wall for extra bases.
I thought for sure that was just a high fly ball into center. Yankervis Solarte is off to a good start in his major league career. Solarte has 5 hits in his first 3 big league games.
We were talking to Tony Pena before the game, and we were asking him, where'd this guy come from? And he was with Minnesota Twins and I believe the Texas Rangers. He was let go. He was just another name to bring to training camp, and he opened up some eyes.
He sure did. And when you go to spring training and look at the Yankees players, I mean, they got players everywhere. They take anybody and everybody to spring training. And I'm sure they thought, well, Solarte, he'll be a fill-in during the spring, and he'd be a nice guy. We'll get a look at him. But boy, he impressed everybody.
And you can be fooled by players in spring training, but once the regular season starts, you're not going to get fooled. And he has carried it over here the first week of the season. He had a great series at Houston in a big game yesterday.
2-2, pulled foul. Solarte has played 672 career minor league games. And you team him up with another rookie, Dean Annan, who played 554 career minor league games. They're the only players to make their debut this season who ever played at least 500 games in the minors without a big league ball game.
How about that? They were the double play combination yesterday.
Solarte strikes out. That's a big out for R.A. Dickey after the leadoff double. Well, if you're a tennis fan, there's a great story developing on Sportsnet 1. Eugenie Bouchard in the Family Circle Cup is playing right now on Sportsnet 1. So check it out, but come back and join us. Don't leave for too long. One out, number 9 hitter is Dean Anna. Anna at second base this afternoon. Played shortstop last night. His first major league game. Got his first big league hit in the ninth off of Jeremy Jeffress. And if you've not heard, Jeremy Jeffress has been designated for assignment. He's no longer on the roster.
Marcus Walden has been called up from AAA. Another young pitcher from the farm system.
2-0 to the number 9 hitter. Had a good hack at that pitch. Fouled it back. If you're not familiar with the term DFA, designated for assignment, it allows the ball club to have a roster spot open, and you have 10 days to move that player, but you take him off the roster immediately. He's designated for assignment. You can trade him. You can put him through waivers. Somebody can claim him. Or he goes through waivers unclaimed. He could end up in Buffalo in AAA and stay in the organization.
And they needed that roster spot to bring up Marcus Walden on the 40-man roster.
Josh Tolley has an interesting theory on that 3-1 pitch. He feels like he can throw a fastball on the 3-1 pitch, but then will go to the knuckleball 3-2. Hitters have a tendency to think, well, if he threw me a fastball 3-1, he's going to throw a 3-2.
And you can turn that around. 3-1, you can throw a knuckleball, just throw it over for a strike. And what's the hitter saying? Well, if you're going to throw me a knuckleball 3-1, you're probably going to get it 3-2. He threw him a fastball right there at 83 miles an hour.
There's a good knuckleball, a full count strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff double.
And it was 74. Now he's established that he can throw the harder knuckleball. And when he needs to, he can take a little something off, which he does here. And you can see the timing from the batter, Nana, off just slightly. Out in front just a little bit more. 3-2 knuckleball. Great sequence right there from R.A. Dickey.
Jacoby Ellsbury popped out to the third baseman his first time up. Goes after that first pitch. Ellsbury's now 3 for 10 against Dickey in his lifetime. His first year with the Yankees. Signed and made it to the big leagues with the Boston Red Sox, and this offseason signed a 7-year contract with New York. Again, there's that high knuckler that baffled the Yankees so effectively last September.
And check out the miles per hour. That one was 79 miles an hour. The one before it was 78 miles an hour. We didn't see that type of speed in Tampa.
His knuckleball averaged 75 miles an hour against the Rays.
Especially early in the count, we didn't see it.
Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Josh Tolley, the catcher, with the RBI. That's a base hit into center. Rasmus gets a good hop. Here's the throw to the plate. The tag by Tolley. He got him. What a terrific play by Josh Tolley. And now Girardi quickly out to talk to the home plate umpire, Dana Demuth. And you can bet this is all about the catcher's position at home plate.
And I think the argument is going to be, hey, Josh Tolley was on top of the plate. He gave him the plate to slide to. The new rule says you have to block, you can't block the plate, but from where I was sitting, it looked like Josh was on top of the plate, so he gave him somewhere to, see that? There's a lane for him to slide right there.
That's interesting now, because before he got the ball, he crept across home plate. And you could interpret that as blocking the plate, not giving the base runner a path to home plate. And that's the interpretation. Did Tolley block the plate before he caught the ball?
You know, and that's the gray area that we're going to have this year, because the throw was on time. It was coming. It was coming towards home plate, and he had to move. There's your lane right there. Just come right to the plate.
But see, Cervelli had his finger up, and watch Cervelli's reaction as he looks to the umpire immediately. He said, hey, he was blocking the plate. This is going to be interesting. He is out on the play, obviously.
Yeah.
Ball's there, he puts the tag on him and he's out. Now the catcher can block the plate, but only when he has the ball in his possession. This is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, this is, people have talked about this here in spring training, about this gray area in the rule. When is it blocking the plate? When is it not blocking the plate? What about if a throw, he's got to adjust to the throw from the outfield to try and catch the ball, which I thought Josh was doing. He moved to get the ball. He's over the plate. Yeah, and he's obviously out.
All of those things you talk about are very valid. There's no question about that. Did the throw take him into the path of the base runner? If that's the case, then totally is credited with the out. Here's Dana DeMuth with the call. He's out. It upheld. Now Joe's going to come out and talk to DeMuth, but Dana has nothing to do with this. This was determined in New York in the war room.
I think Joe Girardi wants an explanation. I think he wants to hear why it was denied.
So, the tag at the plate, the Blue Jays hold on to their 1-0 lead. We'll head to the bottom of the third. In 60 seconds, in case you missed the game or you want to see some highlights, you can catch it all on Jays in 60 seconds. Log on to sportsnet.ca and check it out. Joe Girardi, the catcher in his playing days, has really spent a lot of time studying this collision rule. It's Rule 7.13. It covers home plate collisions, and Cervelli is saying, now, you're telling me that I can't block the plate, and he blocked the plate. He says, unless a catcher is in position of the ball, the catcher cannot block the pathway of the runner as he's attempting to score. If in the judgment of the umpire, the catcher without possession of the ball blocks the pathway of the runner, the umpire shall call or signal the runner safe. So obviously they didn't think that was the case.
Well, is it blocking the plate if you straddle the plate? I mean, you have to give him a path to slide,
right? I think you have to give him the entire plate to slide to. You're saying because he straddled the plate, he had plenty of room at it.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
There's a breaking ball, 1-2. We have been informed that the replay was an umpire replay and not a challenge by the Yankees, so Girardi did not lose his right to challenge. Melky Cabrera is retired on the ground out.
Now batting number 28, Colby Rasmus.
It's Junior Jays Saturday, presented by Boston Pizza. As you can hear, Junior Jays get to announce the lineups today. Just one of the many fun activities taking place on Junior Jays Saturdays, presented by Boston Pizza. Colby Rasmus bats with one out, takes a strike. Pineda struck out Rasmus in the first on a wicked slider down and in. That strike to ball breaking ball that's so effective.
He's got a good one. He's got a good breaking ball, and he said the time off while he was injured, again, on top of rehabbing and getting that shoulder strengthened again, it helped him to refine his off-speed pitches. That one right there, that fastball really tied up Colby. Now they have gone in the past. They've stayed up there with a fastball. This might be another time for a breaking ball.
Breaking ball pulled on the ground. Nano waits for it and throws Rasmus out. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell.
Now batting number 19, Jose Bautista.
Bud Norris against Rick Porcello in Detroit. That ball game. But the Orioles, they got a terrific lineup. Blue Jays will see the Orioles on the upcoming road trip. Blue Jays, after the Astros series, will go out on the road. They'll play the Orioles, the Twins, and the Cleveland Indians. Jose Bautista behind 0-2. And Pineda, 3 sliders, and he dispatches the Blue Jays in order. 3 up, 3 down. They'll go to the 4th. R.A. Dickey and the Jays lead 1-0. People Magazine and Target invite you to nominate a current or retired teacher who's a classroom all-star, someone who's made a difference in the lives of students as well as in the community. One teacher will be selected to represent the Blue Jays at the 2014 All-Star Game in Minnesota this summer. For details or to nominate, go to allstarteachers.com. A lot of things going on in this ball game already, and we've played just 3 innings. Josh Tolley has a single in the RBI, the only run driven in this ball game. R.A. Dickey retired the first 6 in order. Colby Erasmus threw out Francisco Cervelli on a strong throw to the plate.
And we've had a replay, all in the first 3 innings.
It is our understanding that it was not a Joe Girardi appeal. It was an umpire review of the play at the plate. Dickey's got a good knuckler working. Jeter grounded out on a sinking fastball. His first time up. Here he tries to shoot it to right. Francisco Cervelli is a terrific catcher, and you can see he and Pineda having a very intense discussion on the bench.
Well, those last 3 pitches of the inning, all 3 of them to Jose Bautista, were nasty. Fastball and a couple of sliders. Telling him, hey, stay right there. Finish up strong.
Don't need to do anything different, that's for sure. One and 2. They got a piece of it. That was a good knuckler. There's the ball boy giving a young fan the baseball. That's what you're supposed to do on Junior Jay's Saturday. Look at that smile. Into the ball game and got a souvenir.
There's a good knuckleball. Wow, 80 miles an hour also. He said he was going to go with that knuckleball early and throw the hard one early in the count, and he's on this afternoon.
3 strikeouts already for R.A. Dickey.
Ball that's up, you can see the grip right there, and watch that ball. No rotation as it comes towards home plate, and watch it just drop. And Derek Jeter can't come up with it.
Well, he had his head right on it, but he couldn't connect. Tolley told us during his 2012 Cy Young season, Dickey threw a lot of knucklers, 80, 81 miles an hour, like that last one to Jeter. This is a high pop-up on the infield. Brett Laurie, the third baseman, calls for it, and Beltran's retired, 2 down. So it was interesting in spring training. Josh Tolley didn't catch Dickey much. Eric Kratz was given the opportunity to catch R.A. Dickey. Blue Jays knew Tolley could handle him, so it wasn't a concern. Kratz did most of the catching for Dickey during spring training.
I like how nice and relaxed Josh is when he gets set behind the plate. He gives a sign, he creeps back, he just leaves his hand right on his left knee, making that glove very loose and very limp so he can move quicker.
Yeah, he takes all the tension out of that forearm, and that way he can just go after that knuckleball right at the end. This is sliced down the left side. This is going to slice foul out of play. Brian McCann with a 1-2 count. I caught a knuckleballer in Kansas City, the late Bruce Del Canton, and he threw it hard like Dickey. I didn't have this modern day knuckleball glove. I had an old-fashioned knuckleball glove that guys used to catch Hoyt Wilhelm and Eddie Fisher with, and it was heavy. And man, you just couldn't hold that thing and give a proper target. You had to catch it just like Tolley. Foul. And got a piece of Josh.
You don't need a lot of padding.
No.
A guy who catches a knuckleball.
Well, you say that, and then you have to think that when Tolley catches it, because it's moving so much, you don't know if you're going to catch it in a webbing, on your thumb, on your little finger. You'll get hit in odd places all throughout that glove.
That's basically a first baseman's glove behind the plate.
Dickey is dealing here this afternoon. He sets down the Yankees in order. Third time already he's had a 3-up, 3-down inning. In the TD Comfort Zone, our folks from Kids Up Front, courtesy of TD. And over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, our guests from Sick Kids Hospital. Welcome, kids. Welcome to the ballpark. Boy, oh boy, have you had an exciting game so far. Getting to see the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey on his game early against the Yankees. And We've had a replay, a play at the plate. Colby Rasmus has 2 assists already this year. He doubled his total from a year ago.
That's good to see. He's got a great arm, and that throw was right on the mark. One hop right to the catcher, right when that runner was getting toward home.
Cleanup hitter is Edwin Encarnacion. He takes a first pitch strike. Edwin flying out deep to right field his first time up. Pops this one up. It's playable out in front of home plate. Now Cervelli in foul ground makes the catch.
Well, whatever Cervelli said to Pineda, he looks like he's getting locked in. Struck out Jonathan Diaz to end the second. 1-2-3 very quickly in the third, and now gets the first out quickly here in the fourth.
Well, we mentioned Pineda had shoulder surgery in 2012. The Mariners knew something was up with their young power pitcher. He started in the majors in 2011. His first start, he was throwing 97 miles an hour. By the end of the season, his fastball was at 91. And that's a huge red flag.
Ooh. They ended up trading him to the Yankees, and they got Jesus Montero, who was a big Yankee prospect. I don't think he's on the roster for Seattle. I think they sent him down.
I think they sent him down as well. Hey, hey. Adam Lynn's got a fan club. We've seen the Jose Bautista imitation beard, and now they're copying Lynn's beard.
Well, if he keeps hitting the way he's hitting, you're going to see a whole stadium full of that beard. Maybe we should get some.
Maybe not. I'll leave it to those two guys in the front row. And tried to hold up and went around. Lynn hit a double to the opposite field. He scored the first and only run of the ball game on Josh Tolley's bloop single to left. Brett Lawrie is on deck. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Pulled on the ground. Dean Anna in shallow right. Throws him out. 2 down. Another good crowd on hand here at Rogers Center. It was a sold-out packed house last night on the Honda home opener. 48,197. Appears to be upwards of 40,000 here once again. Of course, wouldn't you rather be inside than outdoors today in Toronto?
If you're playing baseball, if you're a Duck, you might want to be outside.
Ducks are south. Ducks went south for the winter. They're smart. Two outs, Brett Lawrie. Hot shot right to Jeter. He gobbles it up. Another inning for Pineda. Just 10 pitches, 3 up, 3 down. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Now here's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. Top of the fifth at Rogers Center. Fans enjoying that windows area out in center field. Alfonso Soriano leads things off for the Yankees. He goes after the first pitch and pops out for the second baseman. Well, the Yankees are aggressive, but R.A. Dickey's throwing that harder knuckleball early in their at-bats, and so far, so good.
Well, if they watch the tape of his first start, and they think they're going to duplicate what the Tampa Bay Rays did against R.A. Dickey, they're going to be in for a surprise because R.A.'s throwing that harder knuckleball early, and he's getting great results.
Another first pitch strike to Kelly Johnson. Johnson grounded out to second to end the second inning. Boy, that is a wicked knuckleball. This is the best one we've seen for a while from Dickey.
Yep, that one was registered at 78 miles an hour here at Rogers Center.
Why was Dickey's velocity down last year at the start of the season?
Well, he had that shoulder muscle problem in the neck area. I remember seeing him on the plane and on the buses. He'd have it wrapped, and he was always getting some kind of treatment on it, trying to keep it loose. He just didn't seem that he would be able to get it loose. He couldn't move his neck, and consequently his knuckleball velocity was down in the month of April and May last year. Oh, there's the good one. Woo! Look at the miles per hour. That was just 66 miles per hour. 12 off of the hard one. And watch how it really messes with Kelly Johnson. He gets ready to swing. He's waiting. He can't pull the trigger. Boy, that's how you do it right there.
Well, this is the grip of R.A. Dickey on the knuckleball, and you can see it is basically thrown with the fingertips, and it's kind of a misnomer. But he uses that top seam horseshoe on the opposite side of the baseball to grip that, and then just kind of releases it without really pushing forward. But those pictures, you can see all of the pictures and the grips on Sportsnet.ca. They did a terrific job during the spring to capture the various grips of the pitching staff. 80 miles an hour. That's a key number for Dickey. If he can touch 80 a few times with that knuckleball, then he's really got the good one dancing. And you saw the differential between the one he struck out Kelly Johnson with in the 60s. Josh Tolley talked about it. He said, you know what? I don't care if it's a knuckleball or a fastball. If you get a differential in velocity, it's going to make you more effective because you're going to change the contact point.
66 miles an hour, and he couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah. Dickey won't be happy about that one. He dropped down from the side. He had Cervelli in a hole, and it's a hit by batter. And Girardi's going to check with Cervelli, and he waves him off. Cervelli's fine. 2 outs, man aboard. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Torrey Hunter just keeps rolling along. Now has 4 RBIs for the season. There's a base hit off the bat of Solarte. Bautista comes up throwing. The ball is cut off. And Solarte continues to swing the bat very well into Uri Goring. Yannervis Solarte has another base hit. Boy, Cervelli getting hit with a 1-2 pitch. Changed the complexion of this inning.
Boy, it did. Now, first and third and 2 outs, so he's going to have to pitch out of trouble. Knuckleball up, and he just yanks it into the right field hole. He looks very comfortable at the plate, not intimidated at all. So now, got to go to work right here.
Dean Anna struck out his first time. Solarte and Dean Anna are both playing in their first major league seasons. Anna last year was in the Padres system. He's behind 0-2. Dean Anna played for the Blue Jays manager John Gibbons in Double-A San Antonio, while Gibbons was managing for San Diego.
You can see that sign right there that Gibby's given to his catcher. Watch the runner at third base. If they put the steal on it first.
There they go. Swung and missed. An 80-mile-an-hour knuckleball ends the inning and the Yankee threat. Dickey has 5 punch-outs today. Sportsnet.ca's very own Shai Davidi gives his expert analysis and opinions on Canada's national team. Be sure to check out Shai Davidi on Sportsnet.ca. Kevin Seitzer has had a busy afternoon. Another conversation with Colby Rasmussen. How did that affect you as a player to have a hitting coach talk to you in the middle of the game? Was that a distraction or was that a benefit?
You know, sometimes it didn't bother me because I was so lost. I just wanted to hear something positive or something that I could take up there. You get into trouble, I think, when you start to listen to so many people and you're trying different things, and then you go up there and you've got 5 or 6 things on your mind at one time. You can't do it.
And now Seitzer, you can see they're talking about the timing of Pineda. And there's always a key. When do you start back? Josh Tolley hits it on the ground, gobbled up by Anna. Kelly Johnson covering it first.
You know, that's the thing with a new hitting coach. When you come into the organization, you've got to learn everybody. And you got to have little meetings with them. You got to talk with them. You got to talk. Some guys like to talk during the game about their swing and their fundamentals. Some guys don't like to do it. Kevin's got to learn that about all these guys.
I always wanted a hitting coach to talk to me during the game, but he wouldn't.
You were too busy catching.
No. Just tell me something, please.
Yeah, just one thing that you see. Maybe it'll get you going.
Well, Ryan Goins got it going his last time up. Looked like he missed a hit and run. And Josh Tolley was thrown out, but on the next pitch he hit a double. All the way down into the corner in left field. That double was his first hit of the season, and it snapped a personal 0 for 19 going back to the end of last season. Pineda's really comfortable throwing that slider right now. Fastball hasn't been as reliable as his slider.
And he hasn't been afraid to throw it to lefties or the righties.
Popped up, Cervelli over toward the Blue Jays dugout, and it'll be in the dugout out of play.
This is the Michael Pineda that we saw in Seattle. Notice how fast that ball is coming in there. I mean, he was just blowing gas that day. He's a different type of pitcher now after the shoulder surgery. But that day in Seattle, he had great gas and a great breaking ball.
Good slider right at the end, and this ball is popped out of play. Ryan Goins.
You know, I don't want to say he's reinventing himself, because he still has a whale of a talent. He doesn't throw like he did that first time, but he's close. I think his changeup is a little bit better. It looks like his breaking ball is a little bit better.
Cohen's caught looking at strike 3. Dana DeMuth rings him up. 4 strikeouts for Pineda. That's the first one on called strikes. Great atmosphere here during the Honda home opening weekend. Full house crowd last night. There's going to be over 40,000 here this afternoon. Yankees are always a big attraction at Rogers Center. The sites are asking Goins, was it a strike? The only man that matters is Dana DeMuth. He was the umpire. He thought it was a strike.
I think it was a strike, too. And he took a little something off his fastball. It was just 90 miles an hour, and it messed up his timing.
Jonathan Diaz struck out on a wicked slider back in the second. Gets a fastball and drills it into center. This ball is all the way to the wall. Diaz is around first. He's headed for second, and he'll stop there. Boy, don't be mistaken by Diaz and his physicality. Little guy at the plate, but he can drive the fastball.
Hey, you put a charge into that one right there. The outfield was shallow by the Yankees. They were playing them straight up because they don't have a lot of knowledge or information on them. You can see Ellsbury in center field very shallow, and he bangs it over his head for extra bases.
Jonathan Diaz is 5'8", and oftentimes you'll see a little guy step in the box. You think he could overpower him with a fastball. Everybody thought that about Dustin Pedroia in Boston too, but Jonathan Diaz turned that heater around. Now Diaz is in scoring position for Melky Cabrera. Cabrera had an infield base hit in the first. It extended his hit streak to 6 straight. Goes after the first pitch and lines it to left, but Soriano is there. Melky Cabrera swinging a red-hot bat. 1-0 Blue Jays. And fans, here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew. Brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Let's go! The 2014 baseball season with MLB.TV. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand in HD quality. Watch up to 4 games at once with multi-game viewing. Season subscriptions start at $129.99. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. A lot of great baseball fans on hand. It's Junior Jays Saturday, and that might be the juniorest of Junior Jays. Having a good old time at the ballpark.
Future player.
Top of the order for New York against R.A. Dickey here in the 6th. Ellsbury, Jeter, and Beltran. Ellsbury shortens up the bunt and takes it inside. Dickey has not walked a batter in this ball game. His first start against Tampa Bay, he walked 6. That tied his career high. He also had a 6-walk game against Atlanta a couple of years ago, September 17, 2011.
It looked like he was just trying to guide the ball in there.
In that Atlanta game, he went 7 2/3, allowed 3 hits, had 6 walks, and lost 1-0 to Tim Hudson. So the walks didn't really bother him at all. Chipper Jones drove in the only run of the game in that game, in which he walked 6 for the first time in his career. He equaled that his first start this season. Upstairs, it's a full count. Consistently all afternoon, the knuckleball has been 3 to 5 miles harder than we saw in his first start.
And around the strike zone as Derek Jeter waits.
Hit hard through the infield into center. Ellsbury, big turn around first. He'll stop there.
The 2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
So Ellsbury is at first base. It's a 1-0 Blue Jays lead. Jacoby had 2 steals in last night's game, and that's always a weapon against R.A. Dickey. He unloads quickly. Jeter takes it inside. They appealed down to the first base umpire to see if he attempted to bunt, but Ron Kolpa said no, he didn't. It's ball 1.
R.A. does a good job of holding runners, delivering the ball to home plate very quickly, trying to give his catcher a chance to throw out a base runner. You get the feeling the Yankees want to do something here.
Dickey has always been very quick to first base. This is his 274th career game in the major leagues, and he's allowed just 56 steals. Jeter lays off that high pitch. That's the tantalizing pitch that the Yankees have chased from time to time. Rob Thompson got the message from Joe Girardi, passes it along to Ellsbury at first, and Jeter at the plate.
Do you go with the knuckleball here?
Yeah, stay with it. Ellsbury is back. Ellsbury had 52 steals last year for the Boston Red Sox. That led the American League. Well, he's got to throw a strike now. All those pitches have missed inside. Ellsbury with a leadoff single. Four straight balls. A single and a walk, and the Yankees have the first 2 reach here in the 6th. That's the first walk of the afternoon. Carlos Beltran 0 for 2 so far. The Yankees have 4 hits. The Blue Jays have 5, and the Blue Jays have scored the only run in the ball game. Everything is up all of a sudden.
Time to make the adjustments right here. A soft knuckleball. He has a decent sinking fastball when he has to, just to show him something different.
Pickoff, and Jonathan Diaz did a heck of a job of catching that ball. It was to the third base side of second. He was going toward the bag. Ellsbury was coming back toward the bag. I don't know how he caught it.
I don't know how he caught it or how R.A. threw this one. The inside move, he steps off and flicks it. Almost throws it away, but a heck of a job by Diaz to catch that ball and keep it in the infield.
He's running to his left and reaches back to his right to catch it over the back of the sliding Ellsbury. I mean, that was a formula for disaster. That ball goes into center. It's second and third, and nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike.
They're laying off of it now. We saw them last year swinging at those pitches about letter high and coming up empty. We saw them early in the game go ahead and swing out a couple of pop-ups, a couple of strikeouts, some fly balls. Now they're laying off of it.
Well, the Yankees hitting coach, Kevin Long, he's doing the same thing Kevin Seitzer's doing across the diamond. He said, hey, you guys hit Dickey well when you hit strikes. Don't chase that high pitch. 2-2. Hit hard, but way foul. Well, Jonathan Diaz is playing short because Jose Reyes is on the DL. He's got a hamstring problem, but he was moving around well this morning.
Not very far, just kind of staying right in his area there so you don't overstretch it.
That's a foul ball just outside of the bag at first.
But that's a good sign to see Jose Reyes out on the field. Hit a little bit today, took some ground balls. He thinks that he is going to be on track to come off the disabled list. I believe it is the 14th of this month.
He played in the first game, March 31st, down in St. Pete, and left after his first at bat. Dickey just wants to check in on Ellsbury. R.A. has 5 strikeouts. Now it's a full count. What do you do if you're Joe Girardi? Do you start the runners?
I don't think so. The only reason why line drive and you're out of the inning. You got something going right here. You start the runners, and if Beltran hits a line drive at one of the infielders, it's a triple play.
Not running. Back to Dickey. Good throw to second for 1. Back to first. Double play. R.A. Dickey got his Gold Glove from last year before last night's game. And Jonathan Diaz at second was on the wrong foot. Watch the transfer at second base after the Dickey throw.
You got to be quick. He catches it and he throws it off of his right foot instead of planting that left foot and coming through, but plenty on the throw. Good defense right there. Turn the double play when you need to. That was a big one.
Ellsbury moves to third, but now there are 2 outs for Brian McCann, and there's a drive down the right side. That's a foul ball by a matter of inches. McCann just missed tying up this game. To go back to Jonathan Diaz, when Reyes was placed on the disabled list, a lot of fans asked, why not Munenori Kawasaki? Diaz has better range and a stronger arm.
And you want defense right now.
And the Blue Jays said it first and foremost. You're not going to replace Reyes' bat, so why not get the best defense possible? Diaz had a terrific spring with the glove.
And he's already made some really nice plays here the first week of the season. That turn was outstanding.
Ball and a strike on the Yankees DH. Good job by Tolley. You mentioned Tolley is very relaxed, and this is really the situations where you have to eliminate any tension behind the plate. That runner's just 90 feet away. There's a drive right to Diaz. He was playing almost in straightaway center, but can't hit it on the button. What a turnaround. Double play and a line out. Weekend continues. It's presented by Honda. They'll wrap things up tomorrow, Sunday, April 6th, when the Blue Jays and Yankees conclude their 3-game series. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234 or log on to BlueJays.com, and you better do it right now. Second consecutive sellout crowd here this afternoon. 45,446 in attendance, and they're having a ball here. It's also Junior Jays Saturday, so the kids have been out having a good time, well represented. Lots of activities for the kids, so if you've got kids and you want to have a good time, mark down the home Saturdays on your schedule and come on out. Colby Rasmus will start things off for the Jays. Rasmus, Bautista, then Edwin Encarnacion. Quite a game, 1-0 ball game into the bottom of the 6th. Michael Pineda making his first start since 2011.
I'm impressed. He has really thrown the ball well, and I think the Yankees are going to be happy that they waited for the couple of years while he was hurt.
You certainly can't push on a young guy that's got a big upside.
Yeah, don't want to give up on a body like this and an arm like this.
Another slider. That has been bread and butter for him all day long. That slider has been wicked.
Got a strikeout against Colby Rasmus in the first inning on a breaking ball, and then got him rolled over on it to end the third.
Outside. Pineda signed as an amateur free agent with the Seattle Mariners in 2005. Rasmus stays alive. He made 28 starts for Seattle in 2011. And then he was dealt to the New York Yankees in January of 2012. But you know that Seattle was concerned about Pineda after that first season. I mean, you don't give up a guy like Pineda. And we all kind of scratched our heads. He's 6'7", weighs 265 pounds, and he's got 1 year in the big leagues, and you're trading.
Yeah. And he made Felix Hernandez look small.
Breaking ball, Rasmus strikes out. That's 5 Ks for Pineda. Jose Bautista, he was a strikeout victim in the third.
He's got tight spin on that breaking ball. Throws it right out of the same arm slot as that fastball. Tough to pick it up.
One out. Boy, he can throw that over almost at will right now. That slider has really come around in the middle innings. Fastball skied to left. Alfonso Soriano had a long run, but he's got plenty of time to wait and make the catch. 2 outs in the 6th.
These are the kind of games right here. 1-0. One mistake can really blow the game open right here. Either a mistake by the pitcher or a mistake by the fielder. Or you just have to keep grinding in these one-run games.
Edwin Encarnacion, the first baseman, takes one upstairs. Well, you talk about mistakes and how fate turns things around. Blue Jays put on a hit and run in the 2nd after they scored the run. This is a pop-up. Kelly Johnson, the right fielder, into shallow right. The first baseman makes the catch. Another 3 up, 3 down inning. Michael Pineda is on a roll. Jeff Samardzija might be pitching for the Blue Jays this year, but he is up against Cliff Lee in Chicago as the Phillies are leading the Cubs. R.A. Dickey, oh, what a turnaround from his first start. It's just like Mark Burley said after that brilliant start he had down in Tampa Bay. He said you have 11 good ones, 11 bad ones, and 11 that you don't really know what's going to happen. And you talk about in terms of a season worth of starts.
This so far has been a real good one for R.A. Dickey. The knuckleball's been outstanding. And he's using his fastball. I think that might have been it right there. The little sinking fastball that caught Soriano by surprise.
Popped up, and it'll drift into the seats. Alfonso Soriano came back to the Yankees from the Cubs. He's now 38 years old, but he looks like he's 28. He's in great shape, always has been. He came to the Yankees for the first time in 1999. It's his high and deep into center. Rasmus moving back, turns around, makes the catch.
Unless your TV's in the kitchen, you'll want to finger cook tonight. Order from over 100 menu items at bostonpizza.com.
Great atmosphere at Rogers Center. Second consecutive sellout crowd, game 2 of the 3-game series. Kelly Johnson waves at that first knuckler. He's 0 for 2. Dickey has allowed just 4 hits. Ellsbury has 2 of those. 0 and 2.
Dancing. Well, dancing towards home plate.
Upstairs. So far, Josh Toley's having a dream game. Catching a shutout, and he drove in the only run. And right there, he flicked one off the umpire. Got a piece of it with his glove, and it looked like it caught Dana DeMuth on the right shoulder. But that's what you want as a catcher. First and foremost, you want to catch a good game.
Do your job. Get your ERA down.
And then, in a 1-0 game, the icing on the cake, he's got the only ribby. Up the middle, but there's Diaz in shallow center field, right behind the bag. The defensive shift comes into play again.
Right over the mound, that ball. No problem. Don't worry about it. Got the shortstop right there. Watch R.A. Dickey actually reach back to try and catch this ball. It's 2 hops. It's right through shortstop. That's the value of having the scouting report.
Every team in baseball utilizing the shift more consistently this year than ever before. R.A. Dickey took advantage of that. 2 down, Francisco Cervelli. He's been on base twice. Hit a double to the wall in right center and was hit by a pitch in the 5th. Cervelli showed a little pop in spring training. Hit 4 home runs in spring training.
Showed some pop his first at bat. The ball was carrying like an easy fly ball to center field and just short hop the wall in right center. So be careful with Cervelli here. R.A. Dickey now up over 100 pitches. You got to figure that this might be his last inning as well as he's been throwing. I say just keep running them out there.
Yeah, you know what? He is really in a groove. He's hit a batter and walked a batter. He has struck out 5. Marlo Hale and John Gibbons looking at the Yankee lineup. There's another hit for Cervelli. This time it's a 2-out single.
He hit him 1 and 2 last time, and this time on a 1 and 2 count gives up the base hit. And it doesn't look like that RA is going to have a chance to finish this inning.
Francisco Cervelli's been on base 3 times. He had a double to center, he hit by a pitch, and he singles here with 2 outs. And John Gibbons has made the call to the bullpen. Good game for R.A. Dickey. He hands things over to the pen with a 1-0 lead. Allowed just 5 hits a terrific start here this afternoon. He leaves with a 1-0 lead. The runner at first is his responsibility. Aaron Loup makes his 3rd appearance of the season.
Pitched in yesterday's ball game here against the Yankees and gave up a couple of runs. Excuse me, 1 run on a couple of hits in an inning and a third.
First pitch changeup is in there for his strike. Loup came into the ball game early on in relief of Dustin McGowan, pitched an inning and a third through 23 pitches. And now he hits Solarte. So trying to come inside, he pulled it and hit the batter. All of this happening with 2 outs.
2 outs, nobody on. And R.A. Dickey was cruising. 1-2 count on Cervelli, base hit, now a hit batter. The Yankees already lost 1 player to the disabled list this morning. That one looked like it got him right on top of the back leg, right on his knee. Loup likes to throw that fastball in on that crossfire. You can see it starting to track on the inner half. And hits him right in the back knee.
Boy, right on that knee joint. And that is very vulnerable. So as they attend to Solarte, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Torrey Hunter is 3 for 4. He scored a pair of runs. How about Miguel Cabrera? He's 4 for 5.
Got his 2000th hit last night. 2nd youngest player since 1900 to get his 2000th hit. The only guy younger, Hank Aaron. It's pretty good company.
Solarte is going to test out that right knee. And Pat mentioned it. Teixeira was placed on the DL. Austin Romine, a catcher, took his place. And now they're going to pinch hit for Dean Anna. And Romine might be an option here. Who's coming off the bench? Brian Roberts is going to come off the bench, to switch hitter.
I like what Joe Girardi did there. He had to go out to see if Solarte was okay, first of all. And once he got the okay from Solarte, he ran up and down a little bit. As soon as he got the okay that he continue, he went right to the bench, and he wants to bring in the switch hitter, Brian Roberts.
So Roberts will bat against Loup. And you're right, it's an interesting situation. Obviously, if Solarte has to come out of the game, you're going to use Roberts anyway.
Yeah.
He's the only infielder on the bench.
He would have to take Solarte's place, and Anna would have to hit.
Well, you'd have to use 2 runners. You might use Ichiro to run for Solarte and then use Roberts to pinch hit, but you'd use 2 players if Solarte had to come out of the game.
And who plays defense? They don't have too many infielders left on this team. Plenty of outfielders.
So R.A. Dickey left with 2 outs and a runner on. Now there are runners at first and second. The tying run is at second base. Brian Roberts batting for Dean Anna. And there's that fastball on that inside corner. That's where he meant to throw the fastball to Solarte. Popped out. This should end the inning. Encarnacion calls for it, and Luke gets out of it. The Yankees strand a pair. R.A. Dickey's lead is intact. Jays up 1-0. Championships are back this year. They're presented by Baseball Canada and Little League Canada. Guelph, Ontario, May 9th, 10th, and 11th at Royal Distributing Athletic Center will be the site of the first Honda Super Camp this season. The instructors include Roberto Alomar, George Bell, Devon White, Lloyd Mosby, and Dwayne Ward. Visit BlueJays.com/Baseball Academy for more information. The Toronto Blue Jays are proud supporters of amateur baseball across Canada. New pitcher for the Yankees is the left-hander Vidal Nuno. Yankees left a pair on base in the top of the seventh. Pineda is out. Nuno is in.
Nuno, his second appearance, made his first opening day roster in his career here with the New York Yankees. Got a good sinking fastball, curveball, slider. And I think the pitch that you can really look for is that changeup. It's good. He'll throw it any time.
Adam Lind has scored the only run in this ballgame. He had a leadoff double to the wall in the gap in left center. Scored on Josh Tolley's single. That's been it. A well-pitched ball game. Dickey for the Blue Jays, Pineda for the Yankees. Cervelli is saying, let's calm down a little bit. Throw a strike. There it is.
Yeah, he's a strike thrower. He got 4 distinct pitches that he could use, but he is a strike thrower. Brian Roberts stays in the ball game at second base. Then he took over pinch hit for Dean Anna.
Good breaking ball in a good spot. Way outside. Full count. Lind has double to left center, grounded out to second. Brett Lawrie is on deck. There's a breaking ball. Good take by Lind, and he reaches against the lefty. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. So Nuno had the assignment, get the lefty. He can't, and he's out of the game. Brett Lawrie going over Phelps with the hitting coach, Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer's got all kinds of information on that sheet of paper. Velocity, pitches, tendencies, and Laurie's all up to date. David Phelps makes his second appearance of the season.
22 games last year for the Yankees, 12 on starts. He also spent 2 months on the disabled list with a right forearm strain. They can ping-pong him back between the starting rotation if they need him or the bullpen. He's got a great two-seamer this year, and his numbers against the Blue Jays in his career, 29 innings pitched, 34 strikeouts. Not really known as a strikeout pitcher, but he's done well against the Jays.
And he is a strike-throwing machine. Brett Lawrie with Lind at first.
Third baseman Solarte is expecting a bunt from Brett Lawrie. Remember, he tried to bunt earlier in the ball game. There's Solarte cheating in at third base.
Phelps made 12 starts a year ago for the Yankees. Lawrie went around. It's strike one. Phelps started against the Blue Jays on May 18th. Had a good outing. He went 7 innings, allowed 6 hits, and had a season high 8 strikeouts.
He's got all the pitches. Fastball, slider. He's come up with a nice two-seamer this year.
He was competing for the 5th spot in the rotation, and he threw well all spring long. In one outing down in Fort Myers against the Red Sox, he threw 8 straight called strikes. On the ground, Jeter backhands quickly to Roberts at second, not in time. Lind is retired, 6-4 on the force out. Lawrie is at first, so they swap places. Now Eric Kratz has grabbed him back. He is going to hit for Josh Tolley. Of course, Dickey is out of the game, so Kratz will get an opportunity. This is a curious move with Deanna Navarro on the bench. Switch hitting catcher, but John Gibbons has gone to Eric Kratz, and Kratz had a good spring, hit a couple of home runs, and he's already hit a pinch hit home run this season. That came in the opener against David Price.
There's Deanna Navarro right there, who's on the bench with the knuckleball pitcher out of the game.
Josh Tolley had a single and has driven in the only run of the game. But John Gibbons obviously had a feeling about getting Kratz to the plate in this situation.
There's Josh. What a game he has had here this afternoon.
Had a great game at the plate and a great game behind the plate. 0-1 snap throw. That was close. Lawrie had to dive in quickly.
Got to help your ball club keep that runner close. He's got a good move over there at first base. That was very close.
One-run game. Blue Jays lead it 1-0. Way outside. The hits are even at 5 apiece. There has not been an error in the ballgame. Sellout crowd here at Rogers Stadium for a second consecutive game. You know, managers are criticized often for their moves, but speaking from experience, you just don't know what takes place down in that dugout. Got to make decisions, and we can sit up here and speculate how he comes to those decisions. He's got a bench coach, DeMarlo Hale, who's studying the matchup sheet. But you make decisions based on your information at hand, and he wanted Kratz. Totally a left-handed bat would be batting against Phelps.
Ideal. You know, we're not privy to all the information that goes on down there. It's tough making those decisions. Things happen so quickly during the ball game.
Swinging a foul back. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Acer, official partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. The other day in Colorado, Carlos Gonzalez came out of the game, and you wonder, well, what happened? Why did he take him out of the game? Well, you found out later he swallowed his tobacco, got dizzy.
He was back in there the next day, got a couple of hits.
Good block by Cervelli. Well, he's had quite a day, and that's just what you hope for. He's a backup catcher. He's not going to get a lot of starts with Brian McCann here. But he has had a great day at the plate. He's been on base 3 times. He's doubled, singled, got hit by a pitch. And he, like Josh Tolley, done a heck of a job behind the plate.
2 out a base runner this afternoon also. Cervelli did.
He caught Josh Tolley on a hit and run play. Two balls, 2 strikes. Driven into right. Beltran is there. He makes the grab. So now they're 2 down. Second baseman Ryan Goins will bat. Cervelli looking into the dugout, seeing if the manager has any thoughts about Lowry running. Good pitch right on the outside edge.
It's quick to home too, so if they try and run, it's going to be tough to try and steal a base. Phelps is quick.
Yeah, the Yankees know they've got a reserve starter in Phelps. They can drop him into the rotation anytime they need him.
Tony Pena was telling you and I before the game that he has thrown the ball as well as anybody on the team, and he could very easily be one of their 5 starters.
Well, and one reason you pick Pineda over Phelps is Pineda's injury history. You don't want him sitting down in that bullpen and not knowing when he's going to pitch. You can control his activity more as a starting pitcher.
And Phelps has pitched out of the bullpen in the past. Pineda has not.
Owens fouls it way back on the left side. But they're staying away from Gomez. Ryan hit an opposite field double, a line drive double down into the left field corner. Came back in the second inning. His first hit of the season. Goins gets rung up by Lance Bennett down at third base. The inning is over. The Blue Jays leave a runner. We'll go to the 8th. Brett Cecil into the ball game. Junior Jays and Saturdays are presented by Boston Pizza. Saturday, April 26th will be the next Junior Jays Saturday when the Blue Jays take on the Boston Red Sox. Game time is 1:07 p.m. There are special kids price tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like pros. So call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234 to order your tickets for Blue Jays Junior Jays Saturdays, or you can always get your tickets by logging online at BlueJays.com.
Brett Cecil into the ballgame now in the 8th inning. Set-up man for the Blue Jays. He pitched in yesterday's game, an inning and a third. Just gave up a scratch triple to Kelly Johnson. Big numbers last year, and he's doing it again here in his 2 games.
Eric Kratz back behind the plate. This is his first action catching for the Blue Jays. There's a good pitch to get ahead. Jacoby Ellsbury 2 for 3 again this afternoon. He had 3 hits in last night's game. He's had quite a series so far. Boy, that breaking ball is money, isn't it? He can flip that thing in there just about any time he wants.
You know, he went on that weighted ball program last year, and it has really helped his arm strength. And when you get a little bit stronger, you can spin that breaking ball just a little bit tighter. And that's one of the things I've seen, the improvement from Brett Cecil from 2012 to 2013.
Fastball bounced up the middle. That'll sneak past Goins. He gloves it in center field. Another 3-hit game for Ellsbury. Leadoff single.
The 2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ellsbury reaches against Cecil to start the 8th. Derek Jeter. Jeter, a terrific hit and run man, with the speedy Ellsbury at first. Off the plate inside.
Always looking around. Also, he can drive the ball to right field, and he goes up there early and counts, hunting fastball. And if he gets a fastball out over the plate, he's going to try and spin on it.
Inside, it's 2-0. Switch hitter Carlos Beltran is on deck. We're in the 8th. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Beltran is 0 for 3 so far this afternoon.
Be careful right here. We have seen Derek Jeter for years get in these situations right here. 2-0. Looking for something out over the plate.
Bounced in the dirt. Kratz does a good job of holding Ellsbury at first. So Ellsbury proving early on to be the leadoff hitter the Yankees were looking for. He's been on base 7 times in this series, and a thorn in John Gibbons' side.
Studying that card, checking out that lineup, who he has available in the bullpen.
Well, managers go over the matchup sheet before the series and then every day before a specific game. And they'll have some red flag matchups that they want to avoid. And then they've got the green light matchups where his pitcher will have the advantage. Cecil with a 3-1 count. There's a toss to first. Ellsbury might run right here. If you start the runner, you're going to create a hole on the infield because one of the two, Diaz or Goins, is going to have to go to second to cover the back.
Got a new catcher in the ball game also. Just entered this inning. And Eric Kratz.
3-1. He's not running. Jeter fouls it off. He got tied up. That inside pitch kept the ball in on his hands. Cecil has faced Jeter a lot. Of course, he was a starter early in his career, so he's faced this situation plenty of times. Jeter has 30 at bats against Cecil. He's 9 for 30 with a home run. He wants to set a sign that rotating the fingers doesn't mean am I running. It means give me the signs again. Am I stopped or do I have the green light?
And he was looking into the dugout to Joe Girardi, asking him, do you want me to get going here? Stay out of the double play.
Switch hitter Beltran on deck. It's a full count. Cecil keeping an eye on Ellsbury. The Yankees had 4 stolen bases in the game last night. Ellsbury had a pair, Gardner and Brian Roberts. Not running. Wow. Tough pitch, and Jeter gets the call. Looked like it was right at the top of the strike zone. And with nobody out, 2 on, Carlos Beltran will come to the plate, and he's one of the best switch hitters in the game.
Active home runs by switch hitters. He's #1 with 358. This just makes it so difficult when you've got those type of switch hitters. The Yankees have 2 of them, the top 2 home run hitters, Beltran and Teixeira. This looks like the 6th inning. How the 6th inning started against R.A. Dickey, and he was able to get out of it.
He got out of that situation. Beltran hit into a 1-6-3 double play, and McCann lined out to the shortstop. End of threat. Beltran, did he go around? Yes, he did. Ron Copa down at first base, calling the strike. Good pitch. He put it in a good spot, and Cecil's ahead 1-2.
Got good movement on that fastball, too. That one was registered at 93, but it had movement. And Beltran just couldn't get the head out. Tied him up.
Beltran's equally talented from either side of the plate. 289 as a right-handed hitter, 281 as a lefty. Those numbers are for his career.
It's been a long career, too. Been around a long time.
Mentioned his 358 home runs, first among active switch hitters. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Got it. What a pitch. Good breaking ball, and Beltran strikes out. First out of the inning.
Talked about the great spin that Brett Cecil is getting on his breaking ball now, and this one totally fools Beltran. Check swing. Gets underneath that bat. How about Eric Kratz? Good job to keep that one in front of him. Big out right there.
This meeting with the pitching coach and Cecil is to just go over Brian McCann one more time. McCann is 0 for 2 against Cecil. Obviously, McCann spent his career in the National League before signing with the Yankees. They would face one another occasionally in interleague play. But Pete Walker wanted to go out to make sure Cecil had his mind clear about the attack against McCann. Missed with that first pitch breaking ball.
Pull hitter, the infield is shifted around to the right side, even against the left-handed pitcher.
Fouled it off the glove of Eric Kratz.
Left-handed batters tend to stay on that pitch from a left-handed pitcher a little bit longer, so they don't overcommit against the breaking ball.
Ball and a strike to the DH McCann. Just away. 1-2. Great atmosphere here at Rogers Center, and why not? It's been a terrific game. 1-0 Jays. McCann is 0 for 3 so far this afternoon. Cecil stepped off the rubber, and Kratz will go through another series of signs. Great spot right at the bottom of the zone. Two balls and 2 strikes on Brian McCann. Little chopper out in front of home. Kratz comes out from behind the plate and throws him out at first. The runners move up. Ellsbury at third. He represents the tying run. Jeter's now at second. And John Gibbons has come out of the pen. He's got Sergio Santos loose. The scheduled batter is Alfonso Soriano, and you don't think that they're going to pinch hit for Soriano unless they go with Ichiro.
Ichiro is sitting over there on that bench, so this is going to be very interesting.
Sergio Santos in with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Blue Jays holding on to a slim lead. Quite a ball game here at Rogers Center this afternoon. We're in the top of the 8th inning. There are 2 outs. Yankees have runners at second and third. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Pitching change for the Jays. Sergio Santos is into the game to pitch to Alfonso Soriano.
And try and get a 4-out save right here. There are his numbers in 2 games last season. He straighted 21 of 22 inherited runners. 2 big ones out there this afternoon for Sergio Santos.
Soriano is now 0 for 15 to start the season. Santos jumps ahead with a strike. Well, Joe Girardi knows this is a proven hitter. He's a .271 career hitter. For his career, he's at .269 against righties. He's a regular player. Tough to pinch hit for him early in the season.
You were talking about decisions earlier for managers, and this is one right here.
Well, Joe Girardi's got Ichiro on the bench, and he's got 5 hits in his last 2 games. But Ichiro's 0 for 5 against Santos. Ball in his strike. Wicked. Yeah. Great slider, hard and late breaking.
Well, he showed him the fastball, the first pitch, and that was the blazer. Right down the middle. Maybe you throw him the slider. He hasn't seen it yet. It looks like a fastball, and it really tied him up.
Swing and a miss, and Kratz goes to first. Santos strikes out Soriano to end the inning. The Yankees lead a pair. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 1-0. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda CR-V. Honda, proud to be the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, Adam Lind over his last 11 games against the Yankees has hit .300. And with swings like that, being able to take that high breaking ball from Michael Pineda, he drives it into the gap in left center field. He got himself into scoring position where he would score on a single by Josh Tolle, and that is the only player to touch home plate this afternoon.
Beautiful 1-0 ball game has the fans excited here at Rogers Center. 45,446, the second consecutive sellout. Adam Lind has been on base twice today. He's got a .500 on base percentage early in the season, and he's hitting .333. Shortstop Jonathan Diaz. He's had another good game. He struck out in the second, but ripped a double with 2 outs in the 5th, hit it over Ellsbury's head in center. Bouncing ball. Easy play for Brian Roberts. Diaz is retired. Roberts entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, and Aaron Luke retired him on a pop-up. Was hitting for the second baseman, Dean Adams. Melky Cabrera had a single in his first at bat. It extended his hit streak to 6 straight to start the season.
And he came very close to getting another hit. We talk about that double from Diaz. Melky Cabrera stepped up after that and sent a missile to left field. But it was caught by Soriano.
Ball and a strike. Cabrera, former Yankee. 1-2. David Phelps in relief of Vidal Nuno. Nuno walked the only batter he faced. That started the 7th inning. He walked Adam Lynn, and Phelps came on. Bounced foul. Heck of a ball game. The Yankees have actually out-hit the Blue Jays 6-5. But the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
They have made pitches when they had to. Yankees have left 8 runners on base through 8 innings.
Boy, that's a tough pitch to lay off of with 2 strikes. Off the plate outside. Now it's a full count. Melky Cabrera signed originally with the Yankees. Played his first season in 2002. Colby Erasmus, the center fielder, is on net. This boy has a pretty good pitch off the plate outside.
He's seeing the ball. You mentioned that pitch that was just off the plate. He took it like he saw it all the way, and that was a 3-2 breaking ball. He was able to foul off. Don't mind another run right here.
Boy, I tell you what, there's a whole bunch of Blue Jays thinking the same way. One more run won't hurt, that's for sure. There's one deep to right. Beltran looking up. There's that extra run.
Told you he's been seeing the ball, and I don't think whatever David Phelps wants to throw up there, Melky's going to hit it hard somewhere. Homered in last night's game against Tanaka on a pitch that was up. And Melky, it's a big home run for some insurance. Watch where this pitch is. It's up again. He tracks it, and with that short swing, knocks it out of the ballpark.
Boy, what a great swing and a good shot from center field to watch those eyes get wide as he saw that high fastball. It made those ladies happy. 2-0 Jays. Home run number 2 for Melky Cabrera.
And some big-time insurance.
Rasmus down 0-2. Rips it down the line. That's a fair ball. That goes off the wall and over the wall for a ground rule double. Erasmus, his first hit of the afternoon. Kevin Seitzer has to be pleased. They've been talking about it all day long.
Yeah, all afternoon about pitch selection and swings. And not a real good 0-2 pitch right here. They tried to bounce a curveball. Cervelli wanted that ball bounced in the dirt, but he leaves it right over the middle of the plate. Shows you sometimes you can try and bounce a ball and you throw it right down the middle, and Colby was waiting for it.
Rasmus has 2 hits this season. They're both doubles. He's on for 4 this afternoon. He's 2 for 22. He'll get it going. Jose Bautista 0 for 3. Bautista has reached in the first 5 games. Hasn't been aboard yet this afternoon. There's a drive to left. Home run, Bautista.
Did that one get out of here in a hurry? David Phelps has missed his spot the last 3 batters, and the Blue Jay hitters have made him pay. He missed his spot against Cabrera. He hit it out of the ballpark. Hung an 0-2 breaking ball to Colby Rasmus. And then hung another breaking ball to Jose, and he whacked it. Watch where this pitch is. Hanger, it's just spinning up there. Right in the wheelhouse of Jose, and he smokes that ball.
That's that hit me hanger. And boy, did he ever. Home run number 3 for Bautista. And some breathing room for the Blue Jays. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th. Kelly Johnson, Cervelli, and Solarte are the scheduled hitters. Another look at the long home run by Bautista.
Got to put a stopwatch on that one. That was about 3 seconds and got out of here.
He has now reached base in all 6 games this season. Off to a good start. That was his plan going back to spring training. Play a lot, get a lot of at-bats, and get off to a good start in April. Strike 3 call. That inside breaking ball catches the corner. Melky Cabrera home run number 2. Bautista home run number 3. They've come here in the 8th inning. One area of concern for Joe Girardi was the late innings out of his bullpen. So Adam Lind, who had the drive of the game back in the 2nd, has been aboard twice. He had a walk in the 7th. He grounded out in the 4th. Boy, Cervelli really made that look like a strike the way he caught it. Not an awful lot of movement with his glove. Gave Dana to at the umpire a real good look at that pitch.
According to pitch tracker, it was off the plate and pulled it right back. It's got soft
that's
hands.
what the catcher got. He got that strike for Phelps. Yankees are loaded with catchers in the major leagues and in the minor leagues. McCann, Cervelli, and now Austin Romine here with the Yanks. They have J.R. Murphy in the minor leagues along with Gary Sanchez. They've got 5 catchers on their major league roster.
And they like them all, too. The Yankees loaded at catcher.
2-2 to Lind. Strike 3 called. Phelps bounces back. He gives up a pair of home runs. Melky Cabrera, his 2nd hit of the afternoon, comes with 1 out in the 8th. Number 2, and then 2 batters later, Jose Bautista goes deep to left, a 2-run shot, his 3rd of the year. Game. It's connected on East Ontario, West and Pacific. All 4 channels will have connected right after this game. Jose Bautista with his 3rd home run of the season, a 2-run homer. After Melky Cabrera hit a solo shot, has given Sergio Santos a little breathing room. For the Yankees, it'll be 6, 7, and 8. Down in the order, Kelly Johnson, Francisco Cervelli, and Yankervis Solarte. Two and 0. Santos came into the ball game with runners at 2nd and 3rd. It was 1-0 Jays, and he struck out Alfonso Soriano to strand 2 Yankee base runners and keep the lead intact.
So a save opportunity on the line for Sergio.
There's a strike. R.A. Dickey was brilliant this afternoon. 6 2/3 of 5-hit shutout ball. He walked 1 batter, hit a batter, and struck out 6. Great start from Dickey. Three and 1. Drew Hutchison will make his 2nd start of the season tomorrow afternoon. He'll be opposed by the big left-hander CC Sabathia. The way it looks right now, it will be the rubber match of the 3-game series. Kelly Johnson pulls it to first, and Encarnacion flips to Santos. 1 down. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Connected. Here's Brendan Dunlop. Thank you, Brendan. Of course, the Maple Leafs trying to keep their hopes alive for the playoffs at home to take on the Winnipeg Jets. Catcher Francisco Cervelli's had a perfect day at the plate. He is 2 for 2, and he's been hit by a pitch. Boy, what a big 3-run inning for the Blue Jays to expand their lead. Now the Yankees are down by 4.
And as a pitcher, you can go right after the batter's now. No messing around. You got a little breathing room. Go right down the middle. See what they do with it.
Cervelli hits it hard again. Rasmus on the run. Makes a heck of a catch. That ball was slicing away from Rasmus. He made up his mind he was going to stay with it and ran it down, going away from the infield.
You know, I think he learned something from Cervelli to take a couple of steps back because he drove one over his head in the first at-bat. And this time he gets all of it. He takes a great route to the ball and runs right through it. Takes away extra bases once again from Cervelli.
That ball coming off the bat of a right-handed hitter has got that slice spin on it. It was going away from Rasmus, but he outran it. Terrific play. Yankervis Solarte, switch hitter, batting right-handed.
Playing straight up, but again, his first time up, Cervelli drove the ball over Colby Rasmus's head for a double. This time he took a couple of steps back and was able to run that one down.
We have talked about the improved defense all throughout the spring into the regular season, and man, has it been good. Rasmus threw out Cervelli at home plate in the 3rd inning, and already this year he has doubled his outfield assist. He had 1 all year last year.
How about the play by Diaz, the shortstop, on the pickoff attempt first of all, with the runners on, how he dove and kept the ball in the infield, and then turning a nifty double play to help R.A. Dickey in the 6th.
2-1. Solarte, man, this kid can hit. His 2nd hit of the afternoon. He's 2 for 3. Keeps the inning alive. R.A. Dickey in line for his first win of the season. He's the pitcher of record. Josh Tolley did a great job catching, and he put the Jays up with an RBI single back in the second.
Jays already have one shutout this year, looking for number 2.
Of course, the one shutout, Mark Burley was brilliant in his first start of the season. 8 2/3 of shutout ball. Brian Roberts 0 for 1 since entering the game. 2-0. Mark Burley was as good as I have seen him against the Rays in his first start. He had 11 strikeouts in 8 2/3. That's one off his career high. 3-0. Don't want to mess around and turn this lineup over. Jacoby Ellsbury is on deck. He's got 6 hits in this series.
I'd rather just leave him right on the on-deck circle.
There's a strike right down the middle. Steve Delabar is loosening up, and just in case you hope it doesn't get to that, Santos should be able to finish this off. Ball 4. So Ellsbury will get to the plate here in the ninth. A 2-out single by Solarte, and now the walk. Eric Kratz out to talk to Santos. Now Pete Walker out to not only talk to Santos, but to give Delabar a little more time to get loose.
I think that's what that play is right there. Manager going to get on the horn right now to find out how long it's going to take, just in case he needs them.
Well, they've used both of their left-handers. Loop came in to end the 7th inning. He hit Solarte, but then got the pinch hitter Brian Roberts to pop out. Then Cecil started the 8th. He gave up a single, a walk, but then struck out Beltran and got Brian McCann to ground out. He left in favor of Santos, who struck out Soriano to end the 8th. Jacoby Ellsbury came in hitless. He was 0 for 7. He's gotten 6 hits in this series and reached base 7 times. Taking all the way, takes a strike. Derek Jeter is on deck. Of course, Casey Jansen is unavailable. He's on the disabled list. So Santos has been given the closer's role for the time being.
Oh, a changeup. Right there, there's Casey. Eligible in about another week.
$45,000 on hand. Yankees down to their final strike. Eric Kratz asked for timeout. He wants to go through another set of signs.
Yeah, he shook him off the first set of signs and then went through another. And I'm not sure he was on the same page with Sergio Santos. They haven't thrown him that good slider yet.
There it is, ball game. Santos strikes out Jacoby Ellsbury. The Blue Jays win it 4-0. Jose Bautista hit his 3rd home run, part of a 3-run 8th inning. Melky Cabrera, a 2-hit game, including his 2nd game with a home run. R.A. Dickey picks up his first win. He was brilliant this afternoon, bouncing back from his first start of the season.
Yeah, he had a great throwing session in between his last start and this afternoon. He figured he's got to throw that harder knuckleball. It worked out nicely. I think it took the Yankees by surprise, and R.A. Dickey back on top.
We'll be right back at it tomorrow afternoon, the rubber match of this 3-game set. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Connected. Coming right up.